Let me give you more reasons to follow the homie Sil for the latest news, scoops and moves he's about to reveal. From coffee talks to special brews, I'm out of burgers for meals. A cup of bourbon with that tea that's about to get spilled. Like, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go, take out your pen and paper, sit down and take notes. Sil is the realest among imposters, scavenging cutthroats. So, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. Between DC and Marvel, they both have a startle. Disney's moving finicky, let's not mention Star Wars. All these movie execs be drunk off their power, disconnected from the fans in the ivory towers. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. When they keep making the same mistake, that's what you call insanity. They can't even acknowledge their self-inflicted calamity. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. Scoop Senator, Coffee Talks, also covering analytics, making his own reviews, cause it's always been the critics. They clout chasers, money driven, repeating the latest gimmick. Come over to Sil Nation where true vision is given. Listen, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. Let's not forget Mikey's son, always special to the crew. From day one when him and Sil got together for special brew. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. I guess I'll finish on this note. When the niggas go flip mode, they turn gremlins, I'm Gizmo. Come from my people, my kinfolk. For them I ride for and kill for. With this pistol I'm skillful. She can really escalate till it all goes abysmal. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. I'm a watchman, forever vigilant, steady watching and listening, disciplined, militant, killing these dudes that started visiting. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go. Let's go.
So we can get a little love to Sil Nation.
Hey guys,
Zack says shout out.
Love this channel.
To Sil Nation.
Stay tuned.
It's Coffee Talk with Sylabdul. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe now.
Wake up in the morning, eyes crusty, heavy yawning. My phone keep going off, so I shut off the alarm and then head into the kitchen to get the coffee brewing. French roast with French vanilla, my own French revolution. Next movement is to tune into Coffee Talk with Sil. My girl starts to yap if I tell her she needs to chill. I hear enough of the yapping from all of these goofy shills. Plus I'm trying to be informed of whatever's the latest deal, for real. I am a FIFA caffeine, coffee gotta have some cream. Fetch a hazel beef for me while I listen to these kings. Silla might be the team. Subscribe to Sylabdul Inc. Wikigosity magazine. Tell me what's behind the scenes, the other side of the ravine. Is it obscene or is it obscure? I am not sure. The rich is the rich, I'm the poor. That ain't no doubt to my core. We just keep asking for more. They keep supplying the man in the store. As long as it makes it to shore, I know for sure. They'll just keep on making more. Well, almost treasure that piece now have been transformed into corporate Hollywood whore.
What's up? What's up? This is Sylabdul here for Coffee Talk. We had to warm that up a little bit this morning. You know what I'm saying? We had a good night's rest. We woke up on the right side of the bed this morning. So we in a good place. We in a good place right now. Much love to Sil Nation. Coffee Talk. What is this? This is the weekday show. When I go live, when I have a story. So it's not every weekday, but it's when I have enough to put a show together. And we got some interesting topics. You see, the topic's a little vague, but we always review the box office. A couple DC related stories, the Matt Reeves stuff. A little Zaslav information I put out there on Twitter that got betas upset for some reason. So that means we're in a good place when the betas are upset when I speak. And then on top of that, we've been covering, on my platform, we've been talking about the end game for David Zaslav with Warner Bros. Discovery, with the late great Mikey Sutton. We was talking about this for about 4 years now. Now, it was a time they were supposed to sell. Now they've been have to sell in pieces. We're going to talk about that. We got a nice update with that today for sure. Again, much love to Sil Nation. Coffee Talk is when we talk the latest and give informative, objective, and dynamic analysis of the latest in CVM and geek news, plus the business behind it. In the chat, I see Rob saying he's catching this on his days off. Yeah, these weekdays, you know, when I have a few stories together, we jump in here early for that Coffee Talk. Been receiving some interesting feedback from my Cultured Nerd interview. That was a nice, I think, reunion. We already talked behind the scenes really for a couple years now. But that was nice for us to do a show together. And I believe in the future we'll have stories where, you know, our thoughts kind of align and we'll, you know, I'll get them back on the platform. But that was really cool catching up with Taylor. I definitely look at y'all feedback and y'all comments, and it seems like there's a nice percentage of viewers who appreciated that reunion. So my coffee's kind of cold now. I've been drinking coffee all morning. Got this new cinnamon. I just like the cinnamon coffee. So maybe that's why I'm in a better mood this morning. But so definitely, again, appreciate the feedback. And like I said, I want to give people what they want, right? We see Jovic in the chat holding it down, smashing that like. YouTube on the YouTube side. We're on the YouTube side and X Twitter. YouTube, we got to smash the likes. If we want these coffee talks, definitely. Like I said, I mean, I'm, you know, the energy I'm gonna put in my content is for the audiences that wants to see it. I got some member updates to do, so I'm gonna do some updates for the members. The public, if the public want the coffee talk, they will respond. They will smash the like. They will show up. And we'll make sure, again, the right audience gets what we're dishing. Maria, good morning to you. Always appreciate your thoughts in the chat. Omari, another Friday, another Matt Reeves rumor. We're going to talk about that. I'm more about shedding a little bit more light because there is a timeline where Reeves does not direct another Batman film. I don't know even if other films, and we're going to kind of shed a little more light because this came up actually in the Culture Nerd interview about Reeves and the personal situation. Again, it's not about talking about this man's personal life, but I just don't like people spinning it like this is some war between him, DC, Gunn, and stuff like that. It's not that, and we'll kind of talk about that today. Fernando, what's good? What's good? Again, we see the topics there. Before we get to the topics, I always have like a little thing to throw out there. Now, first, okay, so when recently Trump talked about throwing tariffs on film productions, that's overseas, right? And that obviously affects pretty much all the films. You know what I'm saying? Like it pretty much affects all the films. So obviously it affects the topics that I talk about. But I keep seeing people reacting a certain way when this word tariffs come up. And first side note, and maybe this is the disclaimer that I will do anytime we mentioned the Orange Man, the president of the states here. I don't care about your personal political beliefs, because my show is not about that. It just seems like anytime his name comes up in any of my streams, a few people in the chat, and I'm talking about like more like after, like post comments, they feel like they have to declare why they don't like. I actually don't care about the political nature of this. I'm talking about the entertainment factor. So let's just make that clear. People crash out. I think people crash out for both parties too much. So let me just say that officially. I hate both sides of this, and let's go forward. But as far as with the tariffs, okay, we've seen a trend as far as, when Trump says he's going to tariff something, it's like a bargaining chip. So it's something else he's trying to get out of this, or trying to negotiate something. I don't believe he's going to just tax all film productions overseas. A lot of DC is going to be in the UK, but then he announces a trade deal with the UK yesterday, meaning relax, saying all Hollywood's going to implode, relax. That's all I want to say with as far as with this tariff talk. All right, let's just leave it at that. We're going to keep it on entertainment, but that affected entertainment news. We addressed it. Don't worry about the tariffs, and Hollywood charges on. And most important for us, CBM, DC, Marvel, stuff like that, right? So we got a little update, and I failed actually setting this up properly, because I wanted to talk about the latest in the box office. Interesting updates that we're going to give. Thunderbolts just came out this past weekend. I thought it did decently. Now we're looking ahead to the new weekend and what's to come at the theaters. Box office battle. Box office battle, where we look at the latest in box office when there's a couple interesting films in juxtaposition of each other. It's been a pretty cool month watching the box office. Definitely Sinners is still doing incredible, amazing. And this is going to be a very interesting weekend, actually, I feel. First off, Thunderbolts, I believe, had a $76 million opening, and is projected to do like mid 30s. So that means we got like another 50% sub, 50% hold, or what we call it, sub 50% drop. So not as, phenomenon as Sinners was, but Thunderbolts seems to be holding well. And some people are attributing the Thunderbolts hold to the little gimmicky New Avengers, right? They retitled the film New Avengers, and if you were on my Patreon, I pretty much been talking about that for months, and it's a story that's been out there. I'm not the only person that or other insiders or whoever talked about that. So that happened in the film. I guess spoiler alert, and so Thunderbolts seems to be holding very well. And again, I'm gonna leave it up to the people that wants to dissect Disney's pockets every week. That's not my thing. I rather dissect Warner Brothers pockets. That's kind of more my lane. Thunderbolts is making money, whether you hate Marvel or not, or hate the Mickey Mouse, and it's doing well, and it's holding well. And so it just feels like Marvel is back. That's what I heard for early screenings, and I saw the film myself. And I was like, hey, Thunderbolts is doing this thing. And let me pull up. I got an article talking more about Thunderbolts. Then we'll get to the Sinners talk in just a moment as well, too. But this talk of Thunderbolts reviving Marvel and all this stuff, Bob Iger was talking about this recently. The first Thunderbolts is the first and best example of Marvel's new focus on film. You know, they couldn't fully save Brave New World. They tried to add some stuff, some elements to Captain America, Brave New World. And, you know, we saw the results. It was a mixed result. The audience didn't embrace Sam Wilson Cap as much as they wanted to. I think Brave New World is a decent film. That's a film I'll get on 4K. Thought some pretty good sequences, but I digress on that. Thunderbolts, again, is representing this new shift in Marvel where, again, we could talk spoilers, okay? This is Marvel. So you talk about the post-credit scenes openly after the opening weekend, right? After the couple days. So they're called the New Avengers now. We expected that. And then Feige makes sure this was connecting directly to Fantastic Four, setting up Fantastic Four, which is the summer film for Marvel this year. So AA plus as far as what they're doing with Marvel, the course correction is real, in my opinion. What was there? Well, I would say that's a part. This is the I guess the big screen new focus. Deadpool Wolverine, that's Ryan Reynolds' baby right there. And that's why they're going to have him do an X-Men film, which is all Ryan Reynolds wanted to do this whole time with Fox. That's the funniest thing. The funniest development in all this is Ryan Reynolds finally gets his X-Men movie, which he's been trying to do for almost 10 years now. But yeah, Feige can't take too much credit for Deadpool Wolverine, but he can for Thunderbolts. Born Again, you know, again, that's a streaming thing. So, but I get your point. I definitely get your point with that. So, you know, the course correction is real. That's a good thing. That's a good thing for just this genre. Again, CBM and Geek News. And like I said, Thunderbolts is doing this thing with that. So, where's my here? And again, the hold is real. $5 Tuesdays did pretty good for Thunderbolts as well too. So those are all wins. Again, I'm just saying the news. People want to say that it's supposed to make this much more. Hey, you open up 76 million and you retain more than half of that the second weekend, you're winning. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Moving on to Sinners. The Sinners entering this fourth weekend. Now, let's see. It opened up originally 48 million. Then it held, 45. Then it went to in the 30s. Now it may get to the 20s, meaning this doggone film may only have like a 30% drop in its fourth weekend. Insane. Okay, what's happening with Sinners? This is not real. No, it's real, but it's amazing reality of what we're doing. I posted this on Twitter as far as with Sinners. Yes, it lost its IMAX screenings, but it's adding more screens. So you lost the premium IMAX screens, right? Cougar got first dollar payment off of those. That's why he was pushing the IMAX. It's the best way to watch it, but also it was financially lucrative for Cougar and his proximity production company. And so I happily supported what he was doing. Now, we talked about, I think last week, I think in another week, they're going to have some select screenings, IMAX screenings domestically. So you're going to, if you missed the IMAX screening and you're like, for me, I'm near Indianapolis, Indiana, with me being over in Kentucky, and those screenings sold out instantly. Like I didn't have a chance to even get, so I'm glad I saw it when I did on the best screen possible. And there's other areas that you can catch the IMAX screenings, but so it's losing that IMAX, but then it's adding more standard screenings. This doesn't happen. This is what I'm trying to stress here. This doesn't happen, that you gain more screenings a month into your screenings. Now, it's a few, it could be a few things with that. There's only a handful of good movies in theaters is Carrie in theaters right now. If I go to my trusty, outdated schedule, nothing's really dropping until I guess the horror films. Final Destination drops next week. But that's not about, that's not going to take a lot of screenings. Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible Memorial Day week are the next big openings. So you still got 2 to 3 more weekends. And that's why you add more center screenings right now. This is great for theaters owners. This is the R-rated horror passing 200 million domestically this weekend alone. We'll look up the numbers here. That means it's already surpassed its $90 million budget. It's modest grassroots marketing. They didn't spend next to nothing on marketing. And it was genius how they did that. They sold it as this is an auteur film by Ryan Coogler, and his number one actor that he uses, Michael B. Jordan. You remember them in Fruitvale Station. They make magic together. They did Black Panther together. So they sold that perfectly. And the audience loved it. The rest is history that we're living in right now. Straight cash, homie, for Coogler, because he got paid up front just for the film. Then he got front end theater cut, mostly from IMAX screenings. So he's already paid. Now he may get a cut of these special screenings coming up as well. And in every screening of Sinners domestically right now, let's pull up the numbers. It's straight cash, straight profit of what's going on as far as with Warner Brothers. Everyone's getting paid. Let me pull up the screen here. We got the box office mojo numbers. We don't even have all the international numbers in because sometimes there's a delay. And also, too, just keep it real. American horror films, they don't really do too well internationally. So, hey, that's just that's just frosting on top of the cupcake. Whatever you're getting internationally is about domestic money. It's going to add at least another 20 to 30 million on top of the number you see there domestically. So over 200 million on a $90 million budget. You're making profit every screening. Amazing stuff. And on top of that, it's a good film. So that's good overall. And who else we got in this? Minecraft made number 3. Y'all already know Minecraft over 900 million. It will be. It may sputter a little bit before making $1 billion, but $1 billion is such an arbitrary number. People get so caught up in it. The main thing, and actually, let me pull up the screening. Let me pull up the numbers here. And I swear, StreamYard, we need a better way to transition these screens because, I do this. All right. Minecraft. Yeah, $1 billion. I know we can say, oh, well, it didn't make $1 billion. It's about you made 400 million domestically alone. That's a win. Okay. Any film. I don't care what film you are. You make $400 million just strictly in the States, you won. But on top of that, it's going to get 500 million globally, international market as well to add to that. So it's going to get over 900 million. It won on all markets. Warner Brothers, DeLuca and Abney for, green lighting this. Legendary Entertainment's getting a nice piece of that pie as well. Those are the people behind Dune, the Monsterverse. They partner with Man of Steel. So everyone wins. Warner Brothers wins. DeLuca and Abney wins. Will that save their job? We don't know. We don't know yet. This is a weird climate with Warner Brothers. We're going to talk more about that today. My goodness. Talk about weird climate. We're going to talk about that in a moment. What I meant to mention when we was talking about Thunderbolts is the director, this story just came out yesterday. I meant to mention this during the Thunderbolts section. Director of Thunderbolts is getting the X-Men movie. Now, first off, in the chat, because I want to get a decent consensus. I know there's people that they just hate Disney when it breathes. But did enough people enjoy Thunderbolts? I mean, obviously the audience score is what it is. A-. So yes, the audience liked it. I think the director did a good job with this ensemble approach. So I'm all for him doing an X-Men film. You know, just in my opinion. How do we feel in the chat about that? About this director doing X-Men, doing a group approach? Because I like with Thunderbolts the fact that, and I didn't mind being on the screen for this. Hold on. With X-Men, I didn't mind that, you know, he was able to juggle multiple stories. He was able to bring in, you know, make the Bucky entrance and Red Guardian. He was able to make everyone have their moment, except Taskmaster. So I think he's going to handle an ensemble X-Men film great. Early rumors, I guess, with X-Men is they definitely want to highlight a new Gambit. There was another character too. I think Kitty Pryde. But whatever. Just he can handle a group. Let's see what we're saying in the chat here. Amari, as far as with WBD, if it gets split up, yeah, it's not going to affect the DeLuca Abbey aspect, no. But yeah, we'll talk about the split in a moment for sure. I hope we get Fox X-Men still. Well, they're in Avengers Doomsday, so yeah. So you got them. I'm curious what the team lineup will be. Will it be the original 5? Yeah, so expect Gambit, Kitty Pryde, and we're talking about the new X-Men, right? Again, you're going to see the Fox X-Men, Avengers Doomsday, some of them in Secret Wars, however they want to send them off or whatever. That's the last time you're going to see them in these Avengers films. Avengers Doomsday, they're setting up Avengers vs. X-Men. We knew that was coming. Again, Patreon's links in the description. I drop a lot of my scoops and stuff is more on Patreon now. On YouTube memberships, I'll have exclusive videos and updates and things pertinent to the audience on YouTube. But all scoops, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, go to my Patreon, become a Patreon. We were talking about Avengers vs. X-Men for a while. And so that's what Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, you're going to see that on the big screen. After that, the new team, that's what this director is doing. The Thunderbolts director, he's doing the new team. That film is supposed to come out after Secret Wars, meaning they'll probably be set up in Secret Wars. But I'm expecting Gambit, Kitty Pryde. You got to have Cyclops in there. Hugh Jackman. I keep hearing Hugh Jackman wants to do more after Secret Wars. Hey, got to make that money. I hope they introduce a new Wolverine. I really do. I love Hugh Jackman, but we don't need him till he's 90. We don't. But yeah, if I'm going to guess the lineup, though, I'll say Gambit, Kitty Pryde, Cyclops. And if you have Cyclops, you got to have Jean and Storm. So, and I'm just going off your number 5. They probably have another Beast and stuff like that. But those are the 5 characters I'm expecting right off the top. I want only Fox X-Men. Well, Yovic didn't only watch Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Right? So, hey, good job for this director. I think he did a good job in that film, in Thunderbolts. I think he can juggle it. And I'm just going to say it. I mean, I hate when films make it more about political messaging than actually the story. And he didn't have that problem in Thunderbolts. So I say I believe in that director. I think he's going to do good. Jubilee some justice. Yeah, Jubilee, I don't know. I don't know. Gonna shoot fireworks? Yo, I'm just watching. You're just watching Doomsday and Secret Wars. That's a wrap. I feel it, man. Let's get to the next topic. Let's get to our DC because it's the DC conversation. There's a couple stories with that Reeves and the DC studios, and then we have the WBD overall stories. That's the last topic up. So let's get to the next topic here. I have to start doing like little transitions. Just had an idea pop in my head, but DC Studios. So I certain things I'm gonna say. I'm not trying to trigger people. I really don't try to trigger people on purpose, but yesterday it was a what do you call it? Our earnings call. Zaslav, was talking to the money people, saying, this is what we think. We think we could do some great things with DC, and other IPs and stuff like that, right? So you're getting Goldman and Sachs and all these banks to buy in, right, to the company. And Zaslav is really pushing his big IPs, and he considers DC a major IP, right? And it should be. Let's pull this up here. During the earnings call, shout out to DC Films News. I know it's at least a couple of cool people behind that account. The ones I've talked to, but anyway. He's highlighted the strong slate, including he's talking about DC to the money people. He's convincing money. He's trying to convince money people. We got Superman lined up. This is Zaslav talking, right? I know people be like, "Oh, please." We got Superman. We got Supergirl. Lanterns on Max. He believes HBO Max is the strongest ever. They've gained more subscribers. Max is low-key doing pretty good. No one's going to catch Netflix. Netflix has over 300 million subscribers globally. Netflix won. Disney Plus trying to catch up. Max as well. I shout to Jovic on the airport. Be safe wherever you're going, Jovic. It says DC Studios has a 10-year plan. Excited about the strong slate. Launching Superman, all part of a 10-year plan to reignite DC brand globally and drive long-term franchise value. This has been Zaslav's plan the entire time, to highlight the value of DC, extract it, mine the value. People really, they try. They really can't put a number, though. How much is DC worth? It can't be just Batman, right? So how much is it really worth? We're going to find out. Zaz is going to find out one way or another. And I've been saying this all last year up to now. That's what this is about. This reboot of DC. Zaslav wants to determine, okay, how valuable is Superman? Because he strips everything away from it. No Cavill, no DCEU reboot. He feels a superstar director, James Gunn. How much is Superman worth? We can have our opinions all we want. We can say, well, Superman Returns and I don't like Gunn, or I don't like Marvel, or we're going to find out how valuable Superman is in 2 months. That's all that's as of concerned. He's aloof to a lot of stuff, but he knows value, and that's why the shareholders and the board are behind him from the business aspect. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. We're going to get numbers. And then, because that's all I stand by when it comes to not what I think, what I hope, what I want to happen. What are the numbers? And then with this DC reboot, like I said, I mentioned with HBO Max, I mean, they feel they can have a strong DC viewership. Amari mentioned the Peacemaker. They got the new trailer coming out. HBO considered Peacemaker a success. Again, I'm not about the feelings. Well, I didn't even like Peacemaker. I gave it 3 episodes because I think the premiere with 3 episodes. Wasn't my jam. I tried to watch a little bit later in the season, and all of us watched the finale because of the fake Justice League cameo. That's not a series. I had no reason to put Peacemaker back, season 1 back on ever again after that. But it had an audience, and HBO considers it a success. And they're really pushing this next season. And that trailer's coming out today. Amari, for Peacemaker. Let's see. Acer says, want to pump HBO subscribers. Well, I mean, again, I could talk about what I want to happen, but HBO has gained more subscribers. And again, they're saying Peacemaker was a success as well too. So, I'm just talking about the numbers. As far as with that, obviously, I think I talked about this with the Culture Nerd. The plan they had around, what was it, 2020 DC Fandom, where it was like the Snyder Cut's coming out. Richard Greenblatt, who is the old Casey Bloys. That's what Casey Bloys is now, head of HBO Max or HBO. That was Richard Greenblatt. Oh no, Kevin Riley. That was Kevin Riley in 2020. He wanted the Snyderverse. He wanted to do the Batman, all the series and everything. Richard Greenblatt was the old Jason Kilar. He got replaced by Jason Kilar and Cernoff. He wanted the Snyderverse as well too. So I mean, yeah, they definitely have people in place to want to do it. Since then, they've gone the direction they have as far as with HBO. Last of Us, House of Dragons, those are big ticket items for them. But they have gained subscribers, as far as on their strategy right now. So that is what it is. Yeah, I like how you put that. Yeah. Peacemaker, like I said, this is them. I mean, if they want to lie to their money people saying, "Oh, Peacemaker is a success," and it wasn't, then I don't know how they gained from that. But yeah, obviously, ZSJO is a global phenomenon. Amazon, and this is a story I talked about. Last year. Was that last year? Amazon was trying to get the Snyderverse over on Amazon as far as the Man of Steel BVS Ultimate Edition, and they wanted the Snyder Cut on Amazon. And Zaslav would not budge. Letting the Snyder Cut off of HBO Max. And I was like, he sees the value in it. It's wild. It's a wild relationship that Zaslav, his concept of DC, I got a little bit more on that. It's kind of wild. But he is going to determine the value of D. We're going to see it in raw numbers this summer, starting this summer. DC brand has changed management so much these past few years. They need to stick to their plan. Yeah, I mean, and they definitely, this is the plan. This is what we're talking about right now. What Zaslav is stating here, for sure. Call me Nolan when Snyder are in charge. Hey, it's all good. And of course, Peter likes Peacemaker because that's Peter Safran. That is what it is. So this is the plan for D. We already know the plan, but I'm just going to state it again. Zaslav is a businessman. He has a very businessman concept. So, if Superman's worth, if the Superman brand is worth nothing, we're gonna find out. Supergirl, I think Supergirl's gonna do well. I keep saying that. Lanterns on Max, they think Max is strong, right? Let's say the value is not there. Let's say Superman does mid, Supergirl doesn't, push 700. As far as everything they're putting into that film, the Momoa effect. I mean, you got the Illuminati helping Supergirl. It has to succeed, right? But let's say it doesn't. That last line that Zaslav said, they want to reignite the DC brand globally, drive long-term franchise value. That's the key word. Board says a silly play. It's a silly play. Oh, first off, Acer, let me give you a drop. Appreciate the support. When I talk, this is a live look, Acer. When I said, hey, they said Peacemaker did good for Max. This is Acer's response.
That fuck.
that was his response. Appreciate you, man. Oh, man. Let's see. Manny in the chat says they did Cavill dirty. Bite them, continue to bite them. Well, I mean, hey, when it comes to Superman, we're gonna find out. That's all I'm advising people is we're gonna see the holes in the holy this July. It's gonna be unmistakable. Is it a viable brand? The value. What is the value of Superman? That's what we're gonna find out. Let's see. Board said HBO will always be HBO. Superman would do okay, then they will spin. Supergirl's a mixed bag. Supergirl's gonna be high. I'm telling you. I've been called several things these past few years, so I don't care if people call me a shield for Supergirl. That has to do well. It's no reason the ingredients of Supergirl. It makes no sense that should definitely do more than what Superman does. But if Superman finds his audience with this iteration, then they're gonna make a trilogy of Corn Sweat Superman films, and he's gonna be in team up films, and he's gonna so we'll see. Let's see. Peter says in the chat, does Zaslav know how damaged the DC brand is? He's willing to have a soft box office for the first wave of DC movie. Long term is the key strategy. Yeah, exactly. So value. So Board. So you think with Supergirl, you think the female? I think with Thunderbolts kind of showed that we can do that. Capable female lead and not like kill us with the woke, and I hate even saying woke now because people use woke wrong now, but just pushing the whole diversity, female empowerment. I thought Thunderbolts did it perfectly. Right. And I think the director, David Leachfield, he does great films starring women. He's directing Supergirl. Right. So I just think like I said, they got something for everything people want to say about DC, Supergirl, women. They got a nice ingredients for Supergirl. I just feel they do. If people don't like James Gunn's DC, like, oh, Gunn writes and directs everything, he's not writing and directing Supergirl. So we just got something for every argument. I'm just saying, man. I may get a Supergirl care package because I'm hyping that too much, but to drive this point home with the value, and pardon me, I'm still getting over a little cold here. But we're going to see the value of Superman and Supergirl, DC as a whole. If these films don't hit the markers where it needs to be, this is the long-term story now. then DC, Zaslav will determine the value one way or another, meaning he will separate DC and put it on the stock market. You know, and so then the market's going to determine how valuable DC really is. I say 10 billion. I really, if the MGM library was only bought for like what, 8 million, I would say DC is at the bare floor level of 10 billion. But the only way we find that out is if Superman doesn't succeed and Supergirl does mid. Then you have to determine, Zaslav is going to determine the value. He's telling you this in his own words right here. I want the franchise value. If these films fail, the stock market will determine the value of DC. Now, we're still a couple years away from that happening. First, Superman has to fail. Now I'm talking about the scenario for DC to get on the stock market, because I want people to, I feel like I have to fill in the blanks more now, because should they if it underperforms? No, if Superman has a good audience score, I think just as is, Superman comes out, let's say it's just as is, it's a $550 to $600 million film. I think that's what Superman is. If the audience likes it, then it's going to make, could make 700 million. So if the critics and fans end up liking Superman, it's going to make enough money. If the audience, the critics are going to like it, I don't care what anyone has to say. Critics love James Gunn. He knows what markers to hit for his critical audience. He just does. They're just like Nolan. Nolan knows how to hit his critical audience. If the audience doesn't vibe for Superman, then yeah, then you don't. Then we're talking about putting DC likely on the stock market. If the audience does not like Superman, that's where we're at. You see Zaslav's plan. Zaslav is making it very clear. I want to reignite the DC brand globally, drive long-term franchise value. Meaning these movies better work or it's going on the market. Boris says DC value is broken, split in half because of poor leadership. If they ever sell DC, it'll be the dumbest mistake ever. Well, so what are they supposed to do though? If they're trying to determine the value and people aren't liking what they're doing with it, I think you would want Warner Bros. To sell DC. If this Gunn iteration doesn't work, what else are they going to do? They feel going back and getting Zack and the actors that they have to spend too much. That's what they're saying. Now, should they have just went ahead and just did that? I feel they did. Now, I have another angle as far as why they didn't continue the Snyderverse. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But if this iteration of DC doesn't work, yeah, I think it's time to sell. That's where we're at. So that's what's before us. And Zaslav, he's making it clear again to the money people, to the shareholders, investors. We're going to find this value, starting with Superman. They should bring Pattinson, Batman, and DCU. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't see that happening. People got to understand Reeves, like DCU, this is a 6 to 8 to 10 year, and I'll kind of address it. They keep changing the numbers of this plan. Zaz has been saying 10 years for the longest, and then 8 to 10 years. And then I've covered every one of these earnings calls. Gunn says he has a 6-year, just first arcing story is a 6-year plan. Again, showing you there's a multiple choose your own adventures thing going on with DC right now. This is just the first idea with Gunn's DCU. If that works, and then in 6 years we get the Justice League New Frontier crossover film. And then there will be another arc of the story that Gunn will be able to do then. But we're not there yet. Zaslav's whole thing is we want a long-term story no matter what. Whether if Gunn's part doesn't work and we have to change something in 4 years, Zaslav's still saying, I want that long-term value of DC. So there's two different things going on here. That's why it's like it starts with Superman. That's the whole point. It's determining the value of DC starts now. That's going to determine the fates of everyone involved. Gunn, Zaslav, they all have different arcs in this story here. If this DC doesn't work, you're going to get a new Batman movie every few years forever. And it may depend on who's the new owners of DC at that point too, because Warner Brothers, Zaslav is not going to just sit there. If these other films bomb, Zaslav is not going to hold on to DC. He was like, oh, I mean, we tried to do a reboot. We tried to give you this director. He's going to try to drive that value up with Batman, then sell. I want them to sell DC, but this iteration, it was spin. They should have closed the Snyder Cut. Oh, for sure. I mean that, and yeah, and I guess I'll do a questions from viewers in the future. But I saw this. There's this weird comment under one of my videos that with Black Adam and Cavill, and as far as that whole situation, that wasn't a everlasting timeline either. Like, let's say Black Adam worked and you got that one last ride of the Snyderverse. That was the plan, and then they were going to reboot. Either way, they just moved up the reboot. And it just seemed like people didn't understand that in my comments. I'm like, what? How is that a hard concept? but anyway, they moved up the reboot because they figured the cost of Ben Affleck, Cavill, Gal's price was going up. And it was like, well, it's better to just kind of strip that, reboot, and get the real value of the character, not just the actors playing it. That was part of the idea. But we'll talk more about that. Firing Gunn will set DC back. They're only going to show the public. They have no faith. No, yeah, Gunn, anything as far as involving a gun firing, that's not even the question right now. If Superman fails, it's going to look like Gunn's fault. So that's going to, Zaz is going to let the public decide that, just like with DeLuca Abdi. Zaz was like, hey, if these next two films don't hit, want the public to know it's DeLuca and Abdi's fault. Then Minecraft was a success, Sinners a success. So Zaz is sitting back. With Gunn, like I said, if Superman does just decent, he's going to get his extension. I think Supergirl's going to do better. So I think Gunn's going to get his at the very least, his 6-year plan with that, again, 2031 Justice League crossover film. If all that goes well, then Gunn will continue. Gunn may decide to be done after 2031. Then let someone else come in and continue the stories or whatever. So it's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of different variables that we're not even ready for. But no, an option right now, the firing Gunn, that's not going to be something discussed. No, not at least until after Supergirl. So yeah. Zaslav failed up. So that's the plan. So that's the first thing I wanted to hit on. Zaslav's plan. Extract the value, determine the value, or set the value of DC. It starts with Superman. It starts with Superman. And so we will see how that comes about. Now, with him saying this 10-year plan, I want to there's a lot being made of Zaslav's incompetence and just so aloof to what DC is. This is probably the best example of it. And I wanted to make sure I got this across to people. I tweeted this out yesterday. Like, this is the guy we're dealing with. He's very black or white. He doesn't understand the nuances of DC. And he saw a lot of talk of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm going to address a few things when I say this too. I covered pretty much every step for step when Discovery bought into Warner Brothers. I covered the merger, which was announced in 2021. That was the year the Snyder Cut came out, and Zaslav was making changes behind the scenes before that deal closed in 2022. So Zaslav was very aware of the Snyder Cut in DC. We had these press conferences we covered. He talked about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and they used a picture of the Snyder Cut. And I got to refresh people's memories because they act like they forgot I was covering this in real time. So Zaslav was aware of the global phenomenon, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And it's been confirmed DeLuca Abdi wants to do that last ride of the Snyderverse, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 3, Man of Steel 2, a team-up Justice League film. Zack Snyder would have been involved with all of that. And so initially, Zaslav was like, okay, if this is what the people want for DC, then we'll do it. Now, this is before the whole Black Adam situation, right? Before all that went crazy. So he's like, okay, Snyder Cut, everyone's watching it. This is DC. I want DC to be huge. And so Zaslav, hold on. What don't make sense? Don't speak general. What I said make very much sense. What I just said. Okay. Let me go. Okay, my fault, Mike. I saw your previous comment. You're talking about the Black Adam thing. The Black Adam thing is Zaslav basically he wanted to do the reboot idea if people didn't turn out for Black Adam and Henry Cavill Superman. Yes, that was all mishandled. Then also he figured he could save some money as well too, not paying Ben Affleck and everyone else. But this here, during that time that I'm talking about, 2021, Zaslav's moving the furniture in, setting up and firing, about to fire Hamada, gave Toby Emmerich his walking papers. We thought Zaslav was doing the Lord's work. All that hype over ZSJL, Zaslav thought, as I said here, he thought ZSJL was setting up a potential 8 to 10 year DC plan, culminating in Justice League versus Darkseid, just like the Marvel Infinity Saga. Now, what makes this comical, because this triggered a lot of people, I don't know why. What make this comical was if you watch the Snyder Cut, it ends in the stare down between Superman and Darkseid. And we understand, Zack has the Nightmare movie, and between that, you got the Batman film, the Cyborg film. And again, you'll do the ZSJL 2 and 3, And then that story was over. And you flashpointed after that. That wasn't a 10-year plan. That's what Zaslav didn't realize. When he was like, oh, the Snyder Cut, so this could be an 8 to 10-year plan, right? Like, no. I mean, I don't know, unless you space out the release of the films. This wasn't setting up TV shows. And see, this is stuff that Zaslav wants to do with DC. So what I'm saying is that it was always going to be a reboot, meaning if Black Adam worked with Henry Cavill, you would get that last ride of the Snyderverse. That only took 2 years to do. And then they were going to reboot. Zaslav just didn't realize what he had in the Snyder Cut right there. He thought he could turn that into a 10-year plan, and that's not Zack's story. Just complete Zack's story. And I believe Zack Snyder will complete his story. Let me start saying, like, when I say I believe he's going to do DC again, I mean, I believe Zack's going to complete his story. This is my theory. This is theory time. Zack keeps saying, I got this Dark Knight Returns story. I believe, because everyone's going off of the 5-part story that we know. The leaked storyboards. Oh yeah, it ends like this, right? Zack says, I have a new story. How does this new story end? Meaning the twists and turns, because again, people forget in the leaked storyboards, that's when Bruce and Lois got together. That's not the film that Zack will make. Now, there's still a Nightmare movie. And then there's some culminating war with Darkseid and the Apocalypse verse, Justice League, which the world becomes the Justice League. But what if there's some kind of future storyline in the Snyderverse where it's a Dark Knight Returns type of situation? And that's what Zack is saying. Oh, Dark Knight Returns. That's because in the Snyder Cut, what's one of the last scenes you see of Batman? He's standing on that bat tank, and you see what is like those mutants behind there. So like, it's like Zack was giving us a glimpse that this is the next movie. This is a movie I want to do in the future. Our Dark Knight Returnists. I'll just say, just think about that. Just think about that as far as what that story could be. Interesting. Yeah, it's very clear what $7 was trying to do. Yeah, of course. That's business. So we don't know how Zack's stories ends. And Zack knows his DC fans. Zack knows what his DC fans want. So once he's able to do DC again, I believe it's going to be a way to tie up his story. So we don't know how that story ends. That's what we got to remind ourselves. For the sake of DC's future, hopefully audiences gravitate towards Superman. Still going to have to compete with Jurassic World, Fantastic Four. Yeah, we'll see it. Like I said, we're going to see the true value of Superman. We're going to see it. You know, the holes in the holy. Everything comes clean tonight. We will see. We will see. So, and so we're still on the topic of DC. I spent too much time on Zaslav. We're still going to talk about the company potentially breaking up, but there's this talk of Matt Reeves, right? I just want to provide a little clarity. We're going to do a brief little intermission here. Make sure you smash the like. Make sure you still subscribe on YouTube, X, Twitter. Much appreciated. Engage with the posts, share the posts, comment, etc. Brief intermission. We'll be right back to talk this Matt Reeves DC and Warner Brothers splitting up the company. Definitely saw that coming as well. Be right back. All right, all right, all right. Appreciate that. Had to do a little rest my voice for a few seconds there, you know. But make sure you smash the like. Make sure you still subscribe. How these likes looking up on YouTube? Hold on, hold on. What's YouTube looking like? We've had some very interesting stories on the show today. Let's see. And we got this set up right on my other screen. There we go. Okay, very decent. Decent is early. I think we need some more likes over there on YouTube. You silent lurkers. The channel is back monetized, so I do appreciate those digging back into those past videos again. As well, become a member. We're gonna have exclusive first look videos and things like that on YouTube as well. So much appreciated. The like is free though. Smash that like. Let's keep this going. Matt Reeves. So this has been all the talk. Now, a week ago, I actually put out there last week that production, initially it was going to be end of this summer for Matt Reeves Batman, then this fall. And then I heard it was going to be early next year. And I put that out there last week. And then people made their rounds. Because I know when I put a story out there, if it's not Restore the Snyderverse, then people, they're not sure. Like when I put out the George Clooney, there was like, then it was confirmed. It's like, oh, okay. So, we may have to take these updates seriously now, right? So, but it does appear, the Batman sequel production won't happen in next year. But people are saying, well, Reeves won't even direct it. And this is what I want to shed light on is the situation with Matt Reeves, with DC overall. There's different, I guess, content creators or outlets. They want to spin some kind of civil war. And this just really ain't the situation to try to be like, oh, James Gunn and Peter Safran are against Matt Reeves and they're pushing him out and they're causing all this trouble for him. It's like this ain't the time to try to do that corporate spin. A lot of people online, they see the activity of Snyder fans and they know how to get clicks. This has been for the longest thing that I've talked about. What's the best way to get your article shared on social media? Attack Zack Snyder. And then you'll have, it seems like the same accounts share the articles. Oh my God, look at this article. This guy is crazy. He hates Zack Snyder. Read this. Click on it. Click, 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 click. What are you doing? Tatiana Siegel specializes in this. The journalist, she bounces in different arenas, different sites. She'll put out an article. Yeah, the Snyder Cut failed. Then you have these same dumb anonymous, I guess they're Snyder fan accounts, sharing this. Says, oh, look, guys, let's be toxic towards her. Share the article. Talk about it. I hate her. Like, what are you doing? So people know how to get certain fandoms going. Like for on the Disney side, just announce a project starring a woman, then you'll have these accounts. Oh, this is woke. Watch it. Watch this film. It's like, so the same thing with Snyder fans. But now the new play is, oh, you Snyder fan, y'all hate James Gunn, right? Okay, so let me put in this story. Oh, he's trying to push out Matt Reeves. Now, what I find weird about this, because first off, because I want to get to the point, but I got to address this. there are several accounts now who saying they riding for Matt Reeves now because, hey, you know, I'm here. They're saying Gunn is trying to push Matt Reeves out. So now I'm riding with Matt Reeves when you were hating Pattinson Batman, like claiming you were boycotting it the entire time. This don't work both ways. You can't come back and you can't be back there saying boycott Matt Reeves Batman. And Gunn don't like him? Okay. No, Reeves, justice for Reeves. No. Sit this one out, please. But as I continuously said, there is no civil war. When James Gunn was first hired, one of his first meetings was with Matt Reeves to determine, okay, what's going to happen with his Batverse and what plans does Gunn have. And it was determined from that meeting, this was what, 2023, that Reeves would do the grounded approach to the epic crime saga, and Gunn would do the more fantastical version of it. Nothing's changed with that. But people are allowing, again, social media and people that know how to trigger you to make you think it's some civil war. Matt Reeves has a end game to his Batverse story. James Gunn, Peter Safran, and Zaslav, they have a more long-term view of the Bat universe. So it's two different stories. Now, it's clear the epic crime saga, Matt Reeves' crime saga, the first film, made good money. Penguin series, multiple Emmy nominations that winning awards for TV streaming. This has the most momentum in DC overall, the epic Batman crime saga. But people think, because I believe Gunn hates him, he's going to cancel it. It never made sense. There was no basis. And you're allowing people to manipulate you on Twitter if you keep pushing stories like that. Now, on top of that, Matt Reeves, as has been talked about, a very personal situation is like multiple personal events, family related. I think if someone's having a long-term personal family situation, what do you think that is? If you could just think, and I don't wish this upon anyone, but it's like if you kind of just think in your circumstances, it's something long-term, it's something in my family, and it's affecting me. It's not me personally. You know what I mean? So, like you realize it's something that's something with a family member, right? To turn that to be like, weaponized and to say, it's James Gunn's fault. It's actually inhumane. Actually, I don't care if you like James Gunn or don't like James Gunn. That's just kind of inhumane. And we wish the best for Reeves. And on that Culture Nerd interview, we was talking about that, and Taylor said, hey, if I was going through what Reeves was going through, he was like, I would just bow out, actually. That's interesting he said that. And the interview came out before these stories came out. And now, this is a speculation part here. First, the production, it's going to be next year. Reeves is attached still as a writer. He's still writing the script. Could he choose not to direct it, not to helm the directing? That's actually possible, actually. I don't believe Reeves is out. I don't believe he's getting tossed out. There's nothing like that going on. It's really irresponsible of people to keep pushing that narrative. And that's nothing for me to say, because the type of people that's pushing that, they want to be irresponsible. And I'm sorry, we're just not the same. We're just not the same. So, as far as what's saying here, exits as director, that's not confirmed. Could that possibly happen? I could see with his family situation that he's going through that he will finish the script and he just be like, y'all can direct, I'll give you notes and stuff. I could see that happening actually. But there's nothing confirmed. No one's giving a solid sourcing that he's not directing it. But just from what I heard and what we talked about in several videos, I could see that scenario. Doesn't mean he's done. Doesn't mean that he got kicked out. It's just insensitive stuff, man. Just, people with confirmation biasness and saying, oh, see, Gunn pushed him out. Like, shut up. You don't know what's going on in Reeves' life right now. Okay, over this some internet crap. Shut up. So irresponsible. That's why no one take a lot of these people seriously, because you just latch on to the first thing you first speculation and rumor that you see, and you run with it to try to fit your narrative. I said we're not the same, and just look like a bunch of idiots out there and continuing to push this narrative. I hope the best for Reeves' family. If he decides he's just going to let someone else direct this, he's going to write it and set it all up, and then he'll come back and finish his trilogy. Then so be it. Then so be it. Same prophecy that Snyder deserved when he departed. I know it's not the same thing. Yeah. But see, this what I don't like Amari is, again, people's all, and I said this as soon as it was like, oh, Gunn's trying to push him out. I was like, that's BS, y'all. Months ago, people latched on to that, and now they're making every story. Oh, Gunn did this. Y'all looking so stupid out there. There's real life stuff going on, man. Not for your hashtags and your clicks and stuff, man. That's not what this is. So like they just need to stand down, because it's going to get more ridiculous. Once this full story comes out, people are going to look ridiculous out there. Yeah, it's not coming out to 2027, and it makes sense now. They keep delaying it, but I think he's going to get that script done. And like I said, there could be a scenario where he won't direct it, but he's still attached to it. No one's pushing him out. Like, just stop. Let's stop that gossip, man. It's really, really messy right now. It's a very stupid. It's a lazy. It's irresponsible. Ridiculous. It like I said, it needs to stop. And again, I have my critiques of Gunn and everything, stuff that he's done in DC in the past. He doesn't deserve the blame of a family life event that Reeves is going through. He doesn't deserve that, man. No one deserves that blame. It's ridiculous. But again, the people that's really sticking to that, they're unserious people. So it's like you're talking to memes, and that's pushing the people that want to be, oh, I'm a bot, no accountability. Get out of here. Get out of here. Final topic. Let's get this, because I gotta get to this last topic here. Interesting stuff we talked about today. See, how did my likes rant do anything on? It did. Okay. Appreciate y'all. I gotta know when I start whining that something happens on YouTube. Okay. But I do appreciate the YouTube audience. Since we got back to being monetized, I've been getting more active again on YouTube, and the viewership and responses have been great. We got the Saturday stream that I'm going to try to make that a regular thing, live every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whether it's a state of the fandom or just an update or a viewer's Q&A, it's going to be a live stream every Saturday. That's the plan. I'm going to say that, and tomorrow something came up. But so I want to set the proper expectations for the viewership. So I appreciate y'all, man. For sure. Let's get to this final story here. Warner Bros. Discovery. Sounds like it'll have its own spin company in the not too distant future. Oh, man. We've been talking about this for a minute. It may be upon us. Now, again, in 2021, me and the late great Mikey Sutton, we was talking about Zaslav's Endgame. He was going to eventually try to flip Warner Brothers, make it kind of like his retirement plan. But then something a little bit changed about Zaslav since he took on this job, because he got a little Hollywood. He started liking being courtside on the Lakers games, rubbing shoulders with billionaires. He's like, I may want to kind of stick around here a little longer, but he still could potentially, again, sell Warner Bros. That still was the vibe. Also in 2021, we said the most likely buyer, and everyone latched on to this one, Comcast, Universal, would look to buy Warner Bros. That was a thing for a couple years. And then finally the time came where Warner Bros. Could be put up for sale. Universal kicked the tires on the company and said, because you remember first Zaslav, he bought Warner Bros. He thought it was $20 billion in debt. Ended up being $50 billion with a B. They did get it down to about the mid 30s now. So they're actually doing a good job of getting this debt together, but it's still a lot of debt. The Universal was like, if it was at 20, like we thought it was 4 years ago, maybe. You still got $35 billion in debt, depreciating value in cable TV channels as well, etc. So Universal passed. That's the update to that story. The story that everyone latched on to 4 years ago, claiming, oh yeah, I'm hearing Comcast Universal is going to buy Warner Brothers. Yeah, that was us. That was me and Mikey. Now I gave you the update. Now Universal passed. So now what? Now the plan was probably to split the company. So that's what we're going to talk about in this article here. Do you think any of the big studios could get bought up like Apple? No, and Apple, the latest I heard with Apple, they're not interested. If they were going to buy anyone, it would have been Disney, but Apple's not interested in like Disney. These companies are so big now, like they have to split up like this. Universal's about to split. We're going to talk about that. Disney will have to split, and then maybe Apple. So that's the next wave. Isn't about companies buying each other, making conglomerates. Now it's going to be about what companies are splitting, and then those pieces. What's going to happen with those pieces? So that's the phase that we're at. I'm saying so people got to update their lingo out there, and you're going to see it happening because they copied the slang 4 years ago. Now it's time for y'all to adopt. Now it's not about buying companies. It's about spinning off companies, splitting, separating DC. That's the vibe now. Everyone adjust accordingly out there that just, watches the channel but doesn't credit. Okay. Y'all been doing it for 5 years now. So they're gonna update their slang. They're gonna update it. Y'all see. Let's go through this real quick. CNBC, David Faber reports there's a spinoff of Warner Brothers cable channels is imminent. Imminent. What does this mean? Discovery Co. excuse me, may be a reality. Warner Bros. Is moving towards a split. Says it's become relatively clear to me, and this is the reporter saying this, from many conversations, that as some sort of announcement in a not too distant future, they're planning to try to split the company. It's happening. It's hitting. Because we was talking about this last year. This is starting to hit the headlines now. they will almost definitely see Warner Bros. Studios paired with Max. So you got the film studio paired with the streamer. That's where all the money is at. That's where they know they can make value. That's why Zaslav is pumping HBO Max. And then his films are hot right now with Minecraft and Sinners and Superman, he thinks will be. He's like, that's where the money's at. That'll be a separate company. There'll be a separate company on the stock market. When you kept hearing about these stocks falling and things like that, because Warner Brothers Discovery is too big. Just like NBC Universal is too big. Just like Disney is too big. These companies have to start spinning off companies, splitting. So as it says, Film Studio Max over here, cable networks and other odd assets over there, like the gaming. They may still sell the gaming. That's basically what NBC Universal is doing. That's the new trend. Take care, Penny. Says here, NBC Universal spinning off its cable assets. So this is the first wave of separating. Now, I told you the long-term plan for Warner Brothers, if Superman and DCU doesn't hit, there's going to be about spinning off DC. That's the next trend. You got NBC Universal spinning off its cable channels and news networks. Disney Bob Iger was asked a couple years ago. He says his legacy TV networks, including ABC, may not be a core to the company. Now he's walked that back because he can't commit to it yet. But you may see Disney split off ESPN and other cable channels as well. This is these companies, just like y'all have been saying. Every time I said Universal could buy Warner Brothers, Apple could buy Disney, people's like, these companies are getting too big. And y'all are right. Y'all were right. But that's just what the business journals was talking about. We're just going to talk about what the news is saying. But now they're actually thinking more like y'all. Yeah, these companies are too big. Let's separate this. And then, partner some stuff. Could DC become his own company? Yeah, Johnny, and you probably go back to the previous. I had a DC topic right before this one, and that is a possibility. Definitely. Disney has Fox Sports and ESPN. They don't need both. Yeah, definitely. I can see them spinning off the sports and news in legacy TV, Amari, for sure. Master Swag King, long time no see. Check your DMs. What's in my DMs, man? I'm trying to remember who I'm talking to here. Let's see. I don't see nothing in the DMs. Send me another DM. I'm trying to remember this account. I think I know the account. But shout out to you. Is it possible David Zaslav stays in WB beyond 2027? Oh yeah, no, there's no reason for him not to be there. No, I think Zaslav's gonna be there for a while. Yeah. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, he's positioned himself for a good while there. So that's a new trend, dividing, splitting up companies. But again, I know the core of this channel is what's going to happen with DC. DC would be positioned with, again, Warner Brothers Studios, all the film studios, and Max. And DC would be in that as well, too. And those stocks will go up. Now, I think the stocks went up when this was announced. Now, let me just make this very clear. Do not take me as some advice for the stock market. Don't do that. Now, that's my disclaimer. I'm saying that I'm going to buy some Warner Brothers shares. That's what I'm saying. You don't. I don't. I'm saying that because once this splits, how would that look on the stock market? Like, will you get shares of each one? There's going to be two companies now. It's going to be your cable channel, like TNT, stuff like that. That's going to be over there. The profitable Warner Brothers Studios, films, and streaming over here. And DC over here. I want some of that stock. All right. Then if DC separates in a couple years, then that'd be a whole another conversation there. So I'm just throwing it out there. Not advice, just observations. Overall, that's the main crux of it, though. And this is just the first start of a trend you're going to see in the industry, again, of people spinning off companies, separating. And NBC Universal is already doing it. Now, if you split this in pieces, can some of those pieces match together? Yeah, that'll be another wave. And then, as I said, once this split starts happening, it's going to make it easier for other people to come in and probably gobble up some assets. Going to be some interesting potential buyers out there. Maybe the Saudis. I just follow the money. That's all I'm trying to say. Follow the money, and we're going to see what's going to happen. Let's see. You sent another DM. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure. You sure you sent it to the right sylabdul? Because I don't see it, man. I apologize. But or maybe you could email me or Facebook me. All my links should be in the description there. But yeah, I'm all right. Does Tubi have enough to buy something up? No, Tubi has their lane. That's that ad base. Tubi ain't gonna rock the boat. Just like Netflix. Netflix not gonna rock their boat. Netflix don't want to mess with theaters too much. They know their lane. Tubi knows their lane. Ad-based gobble up third parties. They're the perfect antithesis to Netflix. Tubi is. So yeah, I don't see them buying. And then again, the game isn't about buying anymore. Right now, the game is okay. Do we got too much? Let's spin this off, and then maybe we can combine companies from our pieces. That's the next wave. But right now, everyone has to separate companies first. Everyone has to divest and spin off stuff first. Then survey what's going on, and then start grouping up. So this isn't the buy phase right now. Not right now. Interesting stuff there. So we got that out there. We got that on wax. So people will know. We're going to start winding this one down because I actually got to start my work day now. But definitely appreciate the turnout. Appreciate, again, the YouTube success. Everyone's been liking the Culture Nerd interview. There'll be more interviews and stuff like that with different people, different collabs. But you know, at the core of this, we got to talk about the news, informative, objective, and dynamic analysis of CBM film and geek news. For sure. As I mentioned, the Saturday stream around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have something for y'all tomorrow on that. Members updates on the way. I think I'm gonna put another interview to members first. I had it on my Patreon. I'm gonna pull it over here and put it on the YouTube members. It's one of the artists on the Mark Rubenstein. He had the first Gambit appearance as far as an artist. He was a part of that Wolverine miniseries. It's on my Patreon, but I'm gonna pull it over here, and other stuff we're gonna throw over here as well too. So definitely much appreciated. As we slide on out, I try to do last minute comments or questions. Actually, like 2 minutes. If there's any last minute comments or questions, throw it in the chat. And because then I got to phase on out of here. And we had someone trying to send me a DM. It's not coming through. Master Swag King, not coming through. So I apologize. Maybe it'll pop up afterwards as well. Again, check out all the links in the descriptions for the Sylabdul Geek Network, where we cover all aspects, deeper dives into the Superman. We got a Marvel channel that I'm trying to build up as well. What else we got? Deeper dives into DC. We're working on a Batman channel, working on a lot of stuff overall. So, with that said, much love to Syl Nation. Very informative day. Go conquer your day as well. I just got to find this off button, and then we out of here. We out.
To Syl Nation. Stay tuned.
Sylabdul ink to speak true as he bring the news. Coffee talk, stay brew, kick back, get real comfortable. Here to stay, no underlay, make sure I be's informed. On the road, on the go, playing ball on that pavement floor. It's the lifestyle right now, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Guaranteed all week's going to always be on time. That's my word, y'all heard from Il Divino Vega's mouth. What's the words much more than what these networks talk about?